Local Foods for Schools training. And we are, this is our last training, so we're super excited. And Casey McLean is our grants manager, and she will be managing this training as well as your grants. So I'm going to turn it over to Casey. So she will have some housekeeping for you as far as with the teams. This meeting is being recorded so that we can go back and share it, or if you all have questions, you can go back and review. So again, welcome, and we're super excited about this opportunity. So Casey, take it away.
Good morning. I am the LFS Grant Specialist, and can you all see my screen, the PowerPoint? Okay, great.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and go through our PowerPoint, and then we will see the Farm to School Hub. Jackie Walters will share that with us, and then we will go into our meet and greet between the food service directors and the farmers today. Okay, so the Local Food for Schools program it will help states deal with the challenges of supply chain disruptions brought by the pandemic. So the goal of the program is to build a fair, competitive, and resilient local food chain and expand local and regional markets. So you have, if you're a food service director, we have both farmers and food service directors on here with us today. You have received your first allocation. This allocation can be used to spend on unprocessed or minimally processed foods. Some of these allowable products could include fruits and vegetables. It could allow 100% juices, pastas and rice. You could buy meats. That could be whole pieces or ground meat. You could buy milk with this grant. You can do cheese, yogurt. You can do honey. And then you can have that minimally processing where it could be cut, whole, pureed. It could be fresh, frozen, canned, or dried. So anything significantly processed are not going to be allowed. You will not receive your refund for this. That includes chicken nuggets, fish sticks, pre-made pizzas. This also includes ice creams, jams, and jellies, and things like that. Do you all have any questions on what kind of food may or may not be allowable that we haven't mentioned? Okay, so moving on, what our funds can be used for. So you can buy anything unprocessed or minimally processed, like I said. You can also spend this on shipping cost. So we are encouraging our farmers to charge those shipping costs because those are covered under the LFS grant. With the food storage expenses, you are able to buy equipment. However, these rentals have to be over by the end of the grant cycle. That grant cycle is next April of 2024. Is there any questions on what your funds could be used for? And you can unmute if you would like to just say your question out loud.
There was one question. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Is hot sauce an option?
Sauce would not be an option, nor would salsa.
Thank you.
Okay, so our common misconceptions about procuring local food. Writing specifications is hard. So food service directors, do you think this is true or false? You can unmute to answer.
I think it'd be difficult.
Okay, so I said it was false. We will go over our specifications during this training, and hopefully you all will feel more comfortable with that by the end of the training. And if you all ever need any further help, you can always reach out. So our next misconception is to qualify for LFS, the total distance that the product travels between the farm where the product originates and the point of sale to the end consumer is at most 400 miles. Do y'all think that is true or false?
True.
I'd say true, yeah. Short, well,
So that is true. So to be local and to be refundable through LFS, you can buy anywhere in Kentucky, or it has to be within 400 miles. So you do have that choice to go outside of Kentucky, but it does need to be 400 miles between that farm where it's produced and then your school. Small farmers do not grow enough food to participate in farm to school. True or false?
I'm hoping that's false.
False.
So it is false, yes. So we are, through LFS, we're trying to reach out to more socially disadvantaged and smaller farmers. We are encouraging food service directors to maybe highlight a smaller farm in maybe one meal or one school. So they do not have to be supplying your whole food district, and that is important to remember. If they don't have enough salad greens to supply your whole school, then maybe you could buy that from what the farmer has and then go with whatever else you want of the same product with someone else. So it is important to be looking out for those small farmers while you're using this program. To qualify as local, food must be grown in the school's county or adjacent county. True or false?
That would make sense.
True.
Okay, so it is actually false. However, the food service directors, you do have the ability to say you only want to buy food from your county or adjacent counties, and that is sometimes the case. However, you do have that ability to buy from anyone in Kentucky or within that 400 miles. So don't feel like you are just constrained to the people in your own county. Being a Kentucky Proud member is a requirement to participate in Farm to School and LFS. True or false? So I see some trues coming in. That is actually false. So through this program, we are reaching out to the socially disadvantaged farmers and smaller farms. So maybe they don't know about Farm to School yet, or maybe they don't know about Kentucky Proud. So that is not a requirement for LFS. It could be a requirement that a food service director makes, but it is not a requirement to be in this program. Is there any questions on any of these misconceptions? All right, so moving on, our definition of local. So our food has to be raised, produced, aggregated, stored, processed, and distributed in the locality or region where the final product is marketed to consumers. So this is just saying everything you buy for LFS to get a reimbursement has to be bought within Kentucky or within that 400 miles. On addition to that, your food has to meet the requirement of the definition of a domestic food. So it does have to be produced in Kentucky. So for food service directors, this is what your all's procurement process looks like. First, you need to know what you want, starting with your specifications, knowing how much you want, forecasting for the farmers, knowing your options on how to procure, and then finding a farmer. So that first step is starting with our specifications. This just allows effective purchasing between you and your farmer, just having clear communications. So you do have to fill out a specification sheet for every commodity that you buy. This is not just for LFS, but it is for any kind of local procurement. So you all might have already been doing this. This one example on here is for apples. So you see that you can say what size you want, what grade of apple you want, how many you might want from that farmer. You have how ripe you would like it, how often you want the farmer to deliver it. You need to specify if you want that farmer to deliver it to all sites of your schools, or are you having them deliver it to one site? How local you would like it grown. So this is where you put that restriction on how local. This one has the 75-mile radius from the farm to the school. And in the other, you could include something like how they could allow school field trips to their farms or anything like that. So this is a grant from the USDA, and we would love to see those farm field trips or even the farmers coming into the schools. Any kind of pictures or videos or field trips to report back to the USDA would be great for us to report in hopes of having a future grant. Is there any questions on specifications? So with the specifications, you are free to use any kind of examples that we have on our website. I will show you the website in a little while, but with the specifications, you can just copy and paste onto your own blank specification sheet. We also have a blank specification sheet on our website for your use. So there are PDFs of so many different vegetables, beef, and fruits that you can see and just work on yours with that. So for our daily market prices, you will go to the link that is on the PowerPoint. That'll take you to the Kentucky Department of Agriculture website. When you get here, you'll go under promotional and you'll click on Farm to School. From there, it will take you to our Farm to School website. So here you are going to see those specification sheets I was talking about. If you click on those, it'll show you PDFs of multiple specification sheets. Food service directors feel free to go here. Also for farmers, you may not see this in a actual form of a paper, but this might just be just a verbal agreement, knowing how many that is, where you're delivering it to, or anything like that. So you may not actually see this physical paper delivered to you from a food service director. So on here also we have daily market prices. So we'll take you to this category. We are buying at retail price for this for this LFS grant. For the class, we chose to use a fruit, and we chose apple as our commodity. Food service directors and farmers, always remember we are in the Midwest US region, so you want to click that. If you're looking for organic or non-organic, and then it'll show you the most recent dates to look for the prices. Once you submit this, you will come up with your results. So you'll have your commodity that you chose. You'll have a variety of that different commodity. You'll have unit prices. So on here, we're having apples, and we have per pound, 2 pound, and a 3 pound bag on there. You'll have a weighted average price and then a low and a high price. So this is a great resource for our farmers and our food service directors to both be looking at, knowing that we're both getting a fair price for that deal. Is there any questions on this?
Regina would like to see the website slide again.
So on step 1, you can see that URL. Can you all see the PowerPoint?
Yes. Okay, she said thank you.
All right, so here are our procurement policies. So for LFS, we are focusing on micro purchasing. Our micro purchase threshold for federal and state are $10,000. However, locally, this does become more restrictive. This could be around $2,000, maybe $2,500. This is different for every school district. And you'll definitely want to reach out to your finance person before you start your micro purchasing to figure out what that threshold is. Is there any questions on the micro purchase? So this threshold is by order. So you could spend $2,000 with that farm today, $2,000 tomorrow, and the next day. So to be within that micro purchase, you can have it by order and make it every day. This is the actual log that you will do your micro purchasing on. I would advise that you make an LFS micro purchase log. You make you a folder, put all of your spec sheets in there and your micro purchase log and your invoices. On here, you will put your school's name. You'll put the year. You'll have the date of your order. And then under produce, you'll put what you're buying, or maybe your meats in the other. For vendor name, you'll put the farm name. For your purchase amount, you'll put the total for that. And then for your reasonable price determination, you need to fill this out. It could be from personal knowledge. So if you're buying apples, you know how much apples usually cost. So that could be personal knowledge. Market research. So that could be using the tool I just showed you on our website, or through historical purchases. If you bought apples in the past, you can buy apples now and know how much they cost in the past. So that would be historical purchases. Lindsay, was there a question in the comment?
Yes. So she said, is the $10,000 threshold for all purchases for that year, or is it per purchase?
So that is per purchase. Like I said, it does get more restrictive locally, and that is different for every school district. So I think I've heard some food service directors maybe mention that theirs is $2,000 or $2,500. So yours could be around there possibly, and that is by order.
And that was the only question, and I don't see any hands raised.
All right, so how to find a farmer. Of course, we have farmers on here today. We have been having our in-person meetings all month, and we've had a meet and greet, and that's went really good with food service directors having that face-to-face conversation with our farmers. We will get to introduce ourselves today on here, and hopefully you'll get a few that you might be interested. However, I would start locally, so if you know any farmers in your county that would be interested in selling to schools, if they're small, medium, or large, that would be perfect. Our farm to school website, which we will hear about the hub in a minute. Contacting LFS staff. So if you're looking for blueberries, or if you're trying to sell blueberries, you could always contact me, and I can get you in contact with someone who is also looking for the same product. For also finding a farmer, I am working on a master list. We will have that out in the next few weeks, and I will be constantly updating that. I will send that out through an email, and then I will also upload that to our LFS website. So for our farmers on how to find food service directors, you would start locally. Not every school in Kentucky is participating in LFS, but they all do have the option to participate in farm to school. If you are interested in finding the LFS ones, I can pull that up. So I have made a list of all LFS participating schools. find it here.
We've got a question.
Yes.
So she says that they are a large district. So could their purchase be per school to keep within the micro purchase threshold? Oh, there's a second part. Sorry, I'll start with that one. So can they micro purchase per school?
Casey, would you like me to answer that?
Yes, I would.
Okay, that's a great question, and it really depends on how you have set your micro purchasing up at your local level, whether in your finance, whether you have already decided to do it per school or per district. So you need to check with your local procurement and what your local district has chosen to do. Because typically, splitting a purchase is not allowed for micro purchasing, but if that's the way your district has chosen to do so per school instead of per district, then it would be an allowable.
And then her second question was, could they also use a bid if they already have one with a vendor?
And yes, if you already have a bid with a vendor and you were already purchasing from that vendor, that is allowable.
And something to note that you do not have to do that micro purchasing. You can always do the small purchase. So
Hey,
there
Casey?
are other options. Yes.
We are unable to really hear you.
Or have we turned it down?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
Okay, so it is important to note, food service directors, you do not have to do the micro purchasing. You could always do a small purchase acquisition. So that is not your only option in LFS. Can you all see this document that I have pulled up on the computer?
Yes.
So this is for our farmers' use. This could also be a food service director resource. This is every county or there are private and public school districts that are participating. So every county, it is categories by county. All the schools are on here. The food service director names are on here, the email and the phone number. So farmers, this would be a great resource to see who's closest to you, who's participating, and to go ahead and reach out, share what you have, maybe share your prices, and hopefully you all can start communicating that way. Food service directors, you can also get on here and see who else around you is participating. Maybe you need a few questions answered, or what are they buying? Who are they using? So you can always reach out to your other schools and ask those questions. You can find this document on our LFS website. And I'm always updating this with the correct information. All right, so onto our LFS invoice. So this is something producers and farmers, you all will have to fill out. You'll have to fill one of these out for every order that a food service director makes. You'll put your farm information at the top. It asks for your name, address, county, phone number, and email. So who you're selling it to, it may be the food service director or the procurement person in that county district. Where you're shipping it to, you could include just one of the schools that you're dropping it off to. And then for your delivery instructions, you could put anything in there that you all need to remember, maybe what day you're dropping it off or who that farmer needs to drop it off to when they get there. So these boxes also need to be checked off with the farmer information. So this grant, the USDA wants us to reach out to more socially disadvantaged and small farms. And we just need this information from our farmers to report back to the USDA. This is not a requirement to be checking off yeses in any of these boxes. However, if you do or you don't, just go ahead and fill that out. So here are a few definitions that could go into deciding whether you're a small business. A business with 500 employees or less is considered small. So if that is you, just go ahead and circle yes. And then to be socially disadvantaged, you can be within any of these groups on here. We only have about 5 on our invoice, so don't worry about writing every socially disadvantaged category you fit into. So this is the bottom of that invoice. You'll have your quantity of what you're buying on that one certain order, the descriptions. So they bought strawberries and apples on this one. If it's whole or minimally processed, both of these were whole, the pounds and the unit price and your total. So you'll have a subtotal for this, and then you're going to have that shipping. So like I said, we are encouraging our farmers to charge that shipping fee, even if that's a flat rate or if that's by pounds of how much they're delivering or to how many schools. LFS does cover that shipping cost, so we do encourage you to find kind of a shipping cost that fits good for your farm. You'll have your total on there, making all checks payable to the farm information on there. So the farmer will deliver this invoice to the school when they're dropping off the produce. The food service director or whoever is receiving it will then sign that invoice and date it. And farmers, you may want to bring 2 copies that day to take one back home with you. But from here, the invoice for food service directors, you will email this to me. And I will have my email up here in just a minute. Do we have any questions on the invoice?
Yes, we've got one from Allie Barnett.
Hi, so we typically invoice through Square, but according to this, we need to start using this format. Is that correct?
So for their reimbursement, food service directors are required to turn in our LFS invoice correct. If you just want to fill this out as a second invoice maybe to use to deliver your produce to the school, or if that is not going to work out for you, you could always talk to the school and maybe have the food service director fill this out if they are willing to do that and send it to me. All right, so food service directors, this is a market invoice. This is for you when you go to a market and buy from multiple farms. You can list multiple different orders on here. You need all the quantities, all the descriptions of what you're buying. So if you're buying 2 different types of produce or a produce and a meat product, you need to have that all written out, legible for me to be able to know what we can reimburse you for that. So farmers, you will not use this invoice. This is just for when the food service directors go to a market. Is there any questions on this?
Oops, yeah, sorry. So Kyle asked, how is the payment to farmers net 15, or is it 30, or is it 45? Do you need Tina to answer that one?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes. Normally, when you are turning in your invoice to your food service directors, they turn then everything into the board, and their board office meets once a month, and that's when the invoices are due to the board. So if you deliver, for an example, if it's on the 15th of the month, if you deliver before the 15th and turn your invoice in, then you will get paid within probably 10 days. If it's after the 15th, then you will, your invoice will not be turned into the board until the following 15th of the month. So you can be anywhere from, within 10 days to probably, I would say at the longest would be 45 days, depending on the board and when they meet and your delivery.
here you can see that reimbursement process. So the food service director will order the product from the local farmer. Then the farmer will deliver the product. They'll have that invoice when they deliver this. The food service director will then submit that invoice to me. You can see that my email is on this slide. When you submit that to me, I will begin that approval process. If you submit it by the 15th of the month to me, you will receive that reimbursement by the end of the month. If it is after the 15th of the month, then it will probably be the next month before you see that reimbursement. So how this reimbursement works, the school will be directly paying the farmer, and then the school will get paid back from us. Is there any questions on the reimbursement process? Okay, so this is the same website we visited earlier. It's the same link. It takes you to the Kentucky Department of Agriculture website. You scroll under over promotional and find the Farm to School tab. Once you click this, it'll take you to our LFS website. Earlier, I showed you the top of this web page, and this is if you scroll to the bottom of it. This is all kinds of links that go with LFS. And since this is virtual, this might be a great help to you guys since we didn't have physical folders for you all to have. So this here has the list of participating food service directors on here. So farmers, you can use this to see who is participating around you. You have a blank specification sheet. So this is for our food service directors to use. If you scroll up on this web page, you'll see those examples there that you can copy and off of. Our producer and our food service director PowerPoints are on there. You have a developing specifications. There's an article on there for you to read through for producers or food service directors could take a look at that. You have your micro purchase and your small purchase on there from KDE. So we're using those same logs that KDE uses. We have our LFS invoice on there. So 1A is that original invoice for only one order. Farmers, this would be a great help for you. We have made it fillable, so you can go in there and type in there all your invoice information and then just print it out and deliver it to that school. We have that example filled out for you to look back to also. And then for our invoice 1B, food service directors, you may use this for when you go to market. That is also fillable on there for you. We also have a link for our frequently asked questions. This takes you to the USDA website for LFS. There's all kinds of questions and answers there. So if you have a few questions after today, you might want to take a look at that and see if your answer is already on there. And then also our Farm to School Hub, which Jackie Walters will explain about later on, which would be a great resource for both producers and food service directors. Is there any questions on our LFS website or anything that's not on there that you all think would be helpful to have on there? So this is mine and Tina Garland's information. You can email us anytime or call us on our phone. Any kind of questions on LFS, we can always answer for you. Two important things to note is if you are participating in the Buy Local program, you are not able to double dip with those funds and LFS funds. So I would suggest using your LFS funds first and then going back and getting that partial reimbursement through Buy Local.
So there's one question, and they asked if you could go back through the steps to finding that list one more time.
Yes. So you will visit on step 1, go to our website, Kentucky Department of Agriculture. You'll follow that link. You'll scroll over promotional and it'll show you a bunch of drop downs. And then it'll show Farm to School. And then you have to scroll down to the bottom of the web page to find the LFS links. And they have been recently added on there. So if they are not on there, you may want to just reload your website, web browser, and hopefully they will show up. And I'll go ahead and pull this up and show everyone. So this is the Department of Agriculture page. You'll scroll under promotional over here, the farm to school. So this is the farm to school web page. If you scroll down, you'll see a little bit about LFS on here. You'll see our specification sheets. So I'll go ahead and click on one of those for you. So we have an alphabetical order, all kinds of specification sheets you can use to make your own. We have that daily market price link there. And then here is all of our documents. And so here would be the invoice, for example. So another thing to note is that your funds are available to you now. So you can start submitting your invoices to me, and I will start on that reimbursement process. You do have until next April to use those funds. At the end of next April is when the grant is over. You have received your first allocation, so all schools should know how much they are receiving. That is not on our website, so if you cannot find that, I can send your allocation to you again. There will be a second, a third, and maybe even a fourth allocation. So if you're using that money, buying all kinds of local food, you will receive more money to do that with. And how we're going to do that, the allocations were based on meal count for the first one. And for the second one, if we kind of see nobody is, one school's not using their funds, we might ask them, are you planning on to use that? And if you don't plan on using your LFS funds, we will redistribute those to other schools that will use those funds. We will not take your money from you without asking multiple times, though. So are there any more questions on LFS from our food service directors or farmers?
You've got one comment, and it says it's from Lisa saying that she has found that they have purchases that are in line with the growing season. And then she asked, will that be an issue with their funds? So I think you mean like you already have your purchases planned of what you're going to do based on their season?
So that will not be an issue. If you're saying you're not going to plan on using it right now before the school year ends, that's not an issue. Like I said, we will reach out to you and kind of ask what your plan are with those funds. We will not take those funds away if you want to just keep this for next year to use this.
Is it okay if I unmute?
Yeah.
Okay, because it'd be easier than typing. What it is that normally, and I certainly am very open if there's vendors on here to more vendors servicing Pike County. I'm with Pike County. We are doing and have done several years a very successful purchasing, and we saw quickly that we would have to go out to bid because our purchases with our farmer is is well above what we could do either in micro or small purchase. And generally, because of school starting, and certainly we can do some things, anything that becomes available, we would be interested in. So I don't want to say we would not, but for the most part, like our purchases run from August until, and they kind of dwindle a little bit because the fruit things come in later. So we're still getting like fresh apples and those sorts of things, later on to the year. And then we still do like potatoes that have been, that have come in and been stored that still fit the guidelines. So I guess that was my question, because these funds have been allocated, and if there's something available to us, we'd be very interested in it. But I didn't want it to look as if we wouldn't spend our funds because, they go quickly whenever we start ordering. But we would purchase, and we will probably be doing summer. So if something become available to us, during summer meals, I mean, we would be purchasing then. But most of our purchasing would, again, start in August because school's going to go out in May. And I just didn't want it to seem as if we weren't spending our money. You know what I'm saying?
And that's okay. I do understand that you all have probably already planned out the rest of the year. And with the summer feeding, we are not allowed to do that, only seamless summer. So you can only use your LFS funds for seamless summer. So that is
Okay,
important
thank
to
you.
note. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That's a great clarification, because we'll be probably not doing seamless summer. So we would just plan either if something became available now, we would purchase it then, or starting in August. So but we have a wonderful program, and I'm excited about maybe finding more vendors, and they're not going to be in conflict with each other. I'm sure that we'll be able to use multiple ones if they're available to us. We just haven't had anybody express interest before, and we even went out to bid so that we could use these. So we're excited about that. It's great product.
Right. And then Allie Barnett has another question.
Hey, so most of our fruit is available during the summer months, and you just mentioned that they aren't able to use these funds to purchase for summer schools. If they were, can they still purchase during the summer and potentially freeze those fruits for the fall, or do I need to like wait on payment until August when the funds come available? How would that work to be able to, have an outlet for some of the fruit that I have during the summer?
Yes, so freezing that fruit is definitely allowable through LFS. So go ahead and send me all the invoices you would like when you receive that product during the summer. If you're not using Seamless Summer, which you can all throughout summer and buy your LFS food through the Seamless Summer program. However, if you want to go ahead and buy strawberries or blueberries and freeze them and use them for the next school year, that is allowable.
An additional comment too for the directors, if processing them to freeze them is something that you're unsure about, we do have Rebecca Shepherd Smith, who is our current chef in schools, and she will come out to your district and be hands-on and show you exactly how to freeze and then store your whatever you buy, and then talk about the safety about that if you have that. So if you would like her information, I can put it in the chat here in a second, and then you can reach out to her if you plan to do that and would like help with that process.
Are there any other questions before I go ahead and turn it over to Jackie to show us the Farm to School Hub?
Nope, I think that's all of them.
All right, Jackie, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and you can share yours.
Okay. Oops. Share content. Are folks seeing that?
Yes, we can.
Great. And apparently you're hearing me as well, so that's good. I will start by saying that I have a wretched cold, so if I go into uncontrollable coughing, somebody else may have to step in and finish this for me, but I'm going to give it the old college try. We started working on the Farm to School Hub several years ago, and some of you may have actually participated a little bit in development. We started by talking to school food service directors and producers and cooperative extension A&R folks mostly to ask what they saw as barriers to schools purchasing food locally. And then we tried to put together something that would address as many of those barriers and address and reduce those barriers as best we could. So I hope that you all will see that this is something useful, and bear in mind that it is still a new product and we still will be refining it for some time. So if you get on it and you start using it, or if as I'm leading you through it today, you see something that could be done better or something that maybe should be added, please let us know, because we are amenable and in fact want to make all the changes we can to make it as useful to you as possible. So this is the first time that I have presented to both producers and school food directors at the same time. So I will probably be kind of modifying my approach some. But all that I said before, another thing to bear in mind is that this is a website not just for this grant, but for schools and local producers to be able to find one another and work together to plan to get more food on kids' trays. So if what you have to sell is salsa, even though these local funds, food LFS funds, can't be spent on that, it doesn't mean that you can't put it on this website and it can't be purchased. You know, you can't find each other through this website for that product. So this site can be reached either through that link that you just saw on the KDA Farm to School page, or you can just type in kyfarmtoschool.com, as you see up here, and it'll bring it right up. Scroll down a little bit. And when you get here, you can see that the website is sort of divided into two parts, the part for producers and the part for school food service directors. Both parts can be accessed by either a school food service director or a producer, or just anybody that's looking around on the site for that matter. It's just divided this way to make it more user friendly. So if I were a school food service director, the first thing I would want to do would be to register. And this pops up the page that you register on. And I'm not going to take you through the whole thing today, but we have a video here that goes to a YouTube video that takes you right through the process of registration. Registration is not particularly complicated or difficult, but there are little things in it, such as, you know, if you're using your 9-digit zip code, be sure to include the dash, you know, just things like that that the video can help with. Because we are still being worked on all the time, in the video, we tell you that when it comes to making a password, that there aren't any parameters around that password. But we have noticed since we posted that video that actually the developers have included some parameters around the zip code. So the password. So that's just a small thing. But once you register, and you have the option to register all your contact information for your school, and you can tell if there's something that you want to buy right now, or maybe just a one-time purchase for some kind of special you're running, or if it's something that you want delivery for because it's on your menu on a routine basis, and maybe it comes up, twice a month or something. So you can say that. You can go ahead and put in specifications, and then all that will be visible to producers when they get on and they look, and they can look at this map and they can see where you are, so they can tell if they're close to you. You can tell if you need them to deliver it, so they can see if you are close enough for them to deliver. They can see if you're interested in field trips or a partner to work on farm to school projects with. Excuse me. Let's see, what else can they tell? They can tell what you want. They can see what your specifications for it are. All the things that you put in when you register. So that is the registration part. I'm not going to play the video today because it's time consuming. So then once you're registered, or even if you're not for that matter, you can search. Say you're looking for someone near you. Well, here it pops up a little button for all the producers that are registered around the state, and you can look at them that way, or they're also listed in alphabetical order if you're looking for somebody in particular. There are the folks that are listed, and it shows you the contact information for them. You apply filters. You can look just for somebody who's willing to serve on school committees or work groups, or someone that provides any of these services. You can look for someone with these certifications, and certainly you can search by product if you're looking for someone to sell you broccoli. Excuse me. I can do. Okay, this button is all about procurement, and you will see that it leads you in many cases right back to the Farm to School website, or KDA. Excuse me. But this will look familiar to you. This is a little graphic that Tina developed to help people with their purchasing. I am so sorry. Here are some resources for figuring out about how much you might expect to pay. I know that Casey just showed you one, but here is another one that shows you local prices, like farmers market prices and produce auction average prices. This is the Center for Crop Diversification at UK. So it's a good place to go. If you're accustomed to dealing in, say, frozen product, and you're not accustomed to dealing in raw product, and you need an estimate for how much raw product you need to buy, here are a couple of calculators that you can access. Excuse me. This probably also looks familiar to you. And here is a link to that PowerPoint that takes you through the purchasing process. Here's an information, or a section on writing specifications, and you can see you have specification examples sheets here. Also a place for documentation for quotations. This is a USDA sort of toolkit that provides both marketing information and also just good information about purchasing, including developing specifications. Here's a link to the Kentucky Proud Buy Local program. This is just a USDA document on geographic preference. And you will see that many of these resources are also available in these sidebars for quick reference. Gosh, I'm sorry, folks. Let's see. Other resources that you had said would be helpful kind of fall naturally into one of four groups: food storage and preparation, planning, food safety, and marketing. There are links to our Plan Eat Move website, which is the UK Nutrition Education Program website. But you might find it useful to show some of these as training, because of course many of our employees are no longer really used to working with fresh produce. So here's one on general knife skills that covers using a chef's knife and a paring knife. And they're short point kinds of videos. There are also videos that go with particular kinds of produce. So for planning, of course, that is very much about budgeting, and some of these resources you already have seen. How much do I need? When are things in season and going to be most affordable? How much to expect it to cost? Storage guidelines for fruits and vegetables. That's a really good resource. Excuse me, that can help you set up your delivery. And these are just things that you might want to talk about when you're thinking about collaborating with producers. So you might include some of that in your conversations today. Your food safety resources are largely information about just USDA fact sheets, safe practices. And then marketing is a section that we're looking to develop more. We have a link to the Junior Chef program because, of course, that's a great way to get kids excited about fresh fruits and vegetables. Again, here is a link to Fruits and Vegetables Galore. This is a USDA toolkit that is really good and has some good marketing ideas and tools in it. And a thing that we will be loading soon is sets of produce cards that we have developed that show vegetables and fruits growing in their natural state, because we've been told by school food service directors that kids have no clue where their food comes from. So if you give them a blueberry, they don't know if it grew on a tree or underground or what. So it shows the fruit or vegetable growing, and it can be personalized. So you can say, these are fresh blueberries from your local farmer, and you can fill in who they came from. And then it tells a little bit about the benefits of eating that fruit or vegetable. So either the food service director or the producer can download those and fill them in, and they can be, enclosed with deliveries, or they can be run off and put on your serving line. Whatever works for you. We have two sets. One is for primary and one's for the older kids. So those are some of the resources that we have right now on here. And then again, contact, you can just search for what you need. So then that's the food service directors section. If you scroll on down, here's your producers section. And the registration is pretty much the mirror image of what the school food service directors do. Again, you have a video that can lead you through it and help you with it, but you're going to put in your contact information, the name of your farm, where you are, what kinds of services you provide. If you have safety certifications like produce best practices, you can put that on there. If you would be willing to be a community partner in some farm to school programs or invite field trips, you can put that on there. You can tell them what you have ready for immediate delivery. Excuse me. You can tell them what you normally grow or what you're willing to grow if somebody's interested, in how much of it you can grow and when you can have it ready for delivery. You can tell them if you're able to deliver or not. All those things that the school food service directors will need to know in order to find you and purchase from you. You find not only school food service directors, you can the schools geographically or by product. You can see if they're participating in any of these programs. You can also search for commercial kitchens and so on. This link may not be working right now. It hasn't been, but there is another place later in resources that has a link that does work. But, say your school food service director wants carrots, but she wants them, already washed and scraped and cut and packaged, but you don't have the capacity to do that on your farm. You can look for a commercial kitchen nearby where you might be able to do that. You can also find food hubs and food auctions here. So selling. What about the process of selling to Kentucky schools? This is a really good link to a training program that USDA has put together particularly for producers. It's called Bringing the Farm to School. And this is a direct link to Module 2, which has a really good discussion about intermediate market channels and national wholesale distributors and so on. And then this is like general information about direct to school sales. Here's a link to Kentucky Proud membership. And over here on the right, you have access to pretty much the exact same forms. The Kentucky Proud application, the Buy Local program, specification worksheets, just to help you see what school food service directors might be asking for. And that might help you when you are actually registering your product to describe it better. Resources, again, kind of fell into a handful of categories. With planning, here is the link I was telling you about earlier that goes to the Center for Crop Diversification. And it shows you by state, like where can I buy shared equipment? In this case, and where's the soil conservation district? And let's see, what's this? That's a commercial kitchen, the little pot. So that might be a good resource for you. Here is a link to K-Card. K-Card is very good at helping with designing a business plan and locating funds if you need to. There are links to Grow Appalachia. Here are the same produce calculators. If in passing someone tells you, they'd like to buy a certain product from you and their school has X number of students, this might help you figure out how much you need to plant in order to meet their needs. And again, you don't have to meet all of their needs. And if you're trying to figure out how much to bid, here again are your links to those price reports. Funding resources. Here at the top, you have links to recurrent grant funding that you're probably familiar with, that pretty much, come around the same time every year. And here are some that are a little bit more time sensitive. Like these are due right away. But a little bit more time on those if you're interested. For marketing, this is a training program through UK that you might be interested in. This is also the Fruits and Vegetables Galore Toolkit that I mentioned before. And you also, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Well, guess what? It's not there anyway. That'll have to be fixed, won't it? You also will have access to the produce cards once we get those posted. And for food safety, here is a link back actually to the Department of Agriculture webpage that talks about the Food Safety Modernization Act and the produce safety rules, and can help you figure out how they apply to your farm and what you need to do. And here is a link to the Center for Crop Diversification website where it talks about produce best practices training, which is generally available through any local cooperative extension office. This module of the Bringing the Farm to School training program can help you develop a food safety plan for your whole farm. And then this is just a general paragraph that talks about food safety insurance. And that pretty much is it. This takes you back to searching for schools. Because people are registered, these are all school food service directors that are interested in buying local products. So that's a good resource. Are there questions or anything that I might be able to help with? I really appreciate everybody bearing with me through my coughing spasms. I know that was not pleasant. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing then.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're going to go into our meet and greet. I'm going to start with our producers, and I'm going to go down my list of participants. And if I say a food service director, just say you're a food service director and we'll skip over you and come back. But we're going to kind of just discuss on maybe what your farm name is, what your name is, what county you're located in, and maybe what kind of products do you have to offer to the schools. So I think, Lindsay, if you'll post that in the chat so they can refer back to, and Alicia, if you want to kick us off and just kind of tell us about you.
Yep. Hi, everybody. My name is Alicia Chisholm. My husband and I, we own and operate Goose Creek Family Farm. We are Kentucky Proud and also homegrown by Heroes. We sell free range beef cows. And so we did have, we were able to sell on one occasion to Mercer County ground beef, and found that it was like super easy, and you know, both parties seemed to be happy about it. So that's good. And so we are located in Mercer County. I think I covered all the questions. Let me know if I didn't. Thanks.
Allie Barnett.
Hi, everybody. I am Allie Barnett from Harrison County. Our farm is right over the line in Bourbon County, though, and we are Stepping Stone Farm. So it's myself, my brother, and my sister-in-law that own and operate the farm. We have taken over the operation of Reed Valley Orchard, if you're familiar with Reed Valley. And then on our farm, we've also planted a bunch of apple trees, peaches, strawberries. So we start in May with strawberries. So strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, black raspberries, red raspberries, pears, peaches, plums, apples, and I'm missing one because I know there's 10, but a lot of stuff. So in the comments, I'm going to post a link to our website that has all of our approximate ripe dates on there. And we do deliveries every Tuesday. So I deliver to a bunch of different restaurants in the Lexington area. And we've partnered with quite a few schools last year. So we're really excited to continue this and pray that the weather holds out and I have a bunch of fruits to get to you guys this year.
Amy Holbrook. Amy, would you like to introduce yourself? Okay, we can move on to Andre. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, this is Andre Fall speaking from Riverside Farm in Henry County. We're primarily a livestock farm. We raise pasture-raised chicken, woodlot raised pork, and grass-fed beef. We do also raise turkey and lamb, but on smaller quantities and not year-round availability at the moment. So the products we would have available on a year-round basis would be chicken, pork, and beef products. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And I'm gonna just say, go ahead and take a look at the chat, food service directors and producers. And while we're going through this, there are forms that you need to fill out for being here today, food service directors. And then producers, if you'll go ahead and fill out that form for you, we'll get you on our master list that we can send out to all of the food service directors. So go ahead and fill those out before you leave the chat today. Juliana, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Juliana. I'm with Change Today, Change Tomorrow, and we are in Jefferson County in Louisville, Kentucky. And we mainly focus on apple juice all year round, 100% apple juice. And then during the summer months, we produce a variety of vegetables from about May to August, September.
Next is David Geno.
Hi, my name is David Link. My wife and we have a family farm in Simpson County. We're Hickory Flat Farms. Last year we produced beef and pork. We're going to be doing beef this year, And of course, vegetables, we've added bees, and we've planted an orchard and a vineyard, but it'll be another year and a half before we get anything pretty much from that. We've got vegetables for sale. It'll be just tomatoes, lettuce, and we have, oh, I'm sorry, and we have eggs. My wife reminds me. We have farm fresh eggs that are fed organically. We're hoping to be able to interact with the school systems here in Simpson County, maybe Warren, Allen, the surrounding counties. Don't want to deliver terribly far, but we're interested in interacting and having healthy foods for the schools. I know our children eat it here at home, and they go to school here, so we'd love to have them carry that over into the school.
David, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm sorry, you asked for David?
Yes.
Yeah, this is David Neville with Capstone Farms. I do a couple of things from my farm. So our individual Capstone Farms, we do some school food stuff, but also work with other farmers and figuring out what they have and making contacts with schools and that sort of thing. So we're primarily a livestock operation. So we do beef and pork, and we do some value added stuff. So some of you guys here probably have heard we do school dogs, which are a healthier version of a hot dog for specifically for school lunch programs, all USDA and all meet the specs of USDA nutrition values. We're working on some season extension stuff because I know for schools it's tough sometimes to get product in when you're in session and farmers are out of season. So both on my farm and some others, we're working on cherry tomatoes and dark leafy greens. I farm in Shelby and Henry County, but we can get over quite a bit of the state, especially in central Kentucky.
Thank you. Allie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Allie Kerr. I'm not a producer, but I'm a technical service provider with the Kentucky Center for Agriculture and Rural Development. And my title is a local food expansion associate. So I can be a resource for both schools, food service directors and producers looking to link up. And I can provide my email in the chat below if you're interested in doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Allie. Justin, would you like to introduce yourself? All right, we will move on. Kate Adams.
Hello, my name is Kate. I'm not sure if y'all can see me or not. I am with Nurtured Lands Farm, and I think you just called on my husband, Justin, who is listening in the other room. We are in Caldwell County, and we produce pasture-raised chicken and forest pork and grass-finished beef. So we are a small farm in Western Kentucky. I'm looking at your questions. We are USDA processed, so everything is USDA processed, and we are organic practice or regenerative, so we use no chemicals on our farm. We currently do a delivery service basically from Caldwell west, so we don't go east very far, but typically we go Caldwell west. So those are the counties that we service. And I think this is a wonderful program, and it's the first time I've heard of it, so I'm very excited to learn more.
Erin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Did you call me Karen?
Yes.
Okay, I'm actually the Assistant Food Service Coordinator for McCreary County Schools.
Okay, we'll come back then. Jan?
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry, I thought I was having some troubles. My name is Jan Nappage. I kind of have 2 hats on, or 3 hats maybe today. I work with Jackie with the nutrition education program, so working on farm to school from the extension side through SNAP-Ed. I also am a farmer in Menifee County, and we do lots of mixed vegetables and are moving into small fruits, but we just planted them last year, so we're not quite bearing fruit yet. But we also grow things like potatoes, tomatoes, things like that. And lastly, I also run the Red River Gorge Farmers Market. So kind of listening with all of those lenses today. So thank you. This has been a great training.
Kyle Wooten?
I
Hey there,
can't
everybody.
hear you.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Great. So I'm Kyle Wooten with K&R Farm. We are in Richmond. We are a regenerative agriculture farm. We raise beef and pork on rotational pasture. We deliver anywhere within 150 miles of Richmond. That's in any direction. We have availability year round, and we are USDA processed. All our meat products come vacuum sealed. Also forgot to mention that we also raise pastured lamb, and we would love for us. So I appreciate everybody's time.
Nicole Markle?
There, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Beautiful. So I'm Nicole Markle. I am wearing multiple hats today. I'm a Frisk in Jessamine County at a middle school at West Jessamine Middle School, and we are in the process right now, about 2 years into building a farm to school program here on site. We have a community work day that's coming up on April 22nd. Super excited about building a garden here. But I'm here also as the partner and partial owner of Papa Pretzel and Wandering Roots Farm. So we make handcrafted sourdough soft pretzels in Fayette County at Gray Line Station, and we're leading with a branded value-added Kentucky Proud product in an effort to build a financial foundation for building back into a micro regenerative farm. It's a long-term plan. And so I'm here today with multiple hats, just learning about how I can expand my business.
Angela Smith? If Angela is not available, move on. We have Stephanie Stefanik. She actually texted me and said she's working at school right now and doesn't have a microphone. So she's with Hawks Landing Family Farm. Her and her husband work with the Scott County school system. They have 2 daughters. They raise sheep and sell USDA certified freezer lamb, and they are also Kentucky Proud. And that is in Scott County. Is there any other producers on here today that we have missed? And if there is, just go ahead and unmute and go ahead and introduce yourself. All right, so we're going to move on to our food service directors. If Lindsay, will you post the food service director? You can say your name, your school district, and your county, and maybe what kind of food you're interested in buying throughout this grant. Nancy, we can start with you. All right, we'll skip down on to Regina.
Okay, I think I've unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Regina Collett. I am from Bell County School District in Bell County, Kentucky. We are new to this, so I am just learning the process of how everything works, and I'm excited and looking forward to making this work for our district. What we're currently interested in would be fruits, vegetables, meats, chicken. We're just, like I said, I'm just learning now. So if anyone has any suggestions for me and can help me with this, I would greatly appreciate it. And thanks.
Thank you. Lisa, would you like to go next?
So I must be the only Lisa. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Great. Thank you. This has been such a great training. I appreciate everybody that is here and participating. I'm Lisa Rizzo from Newport Independent Schools. We would be interested in fruits, and vegetables mainly. Beef and poultry is something I might be interested in. I'm a little bit hesitant to do that just because that would be, extremely new to us too. But because we've been doing a little more scratch-based stuff over the last year or two, that's something I'd definitely be interested in trying out as well. Thank you.
Thank you. We have another Lisa on here with Pike County.
Yes. I'm Lisa Hess with Pike County Schools. Excuse me, I'm much like our Jackie, not well today. But we currently purchase produce and would also be possibly interested in some meat if we were sure that we could deal with that with food safety, as the other Lisa was just talking about. So that is basically what we're looking at, but we're open to new ideas. So if there's something out there that we don't know about and you have it to share, and you can come east, and I will say this, we also assist our other vendor in, like, they deliver to so many schools, and then we pick up and help get on out to our other schools because we are rural and there are several of us. So if you are a vendor, don't be afraid to be interested in Pike County because we will work with you. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. Christine, would you like to go next?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm Christine Cunninger. I'm from Bellevue Independent Schools. We've never done farm to school. We would be looking for mostly fruits and vegetables because, like the other two, I'm not too keen on bringing in the raw meats yet. But I was looking through the farms, and there doesn't seem to be any that are close to us. So I would like to know who would deliver or who would be able to service us up in northern Kentucky.
Do we have any producers on here that want to make a comment if they're kind of close to Christine? And she's with Bellevue Schools. All right, thank you, Christine. We are still looking for more producers, and like I said, I am working on that master list of by county, trying to find out who all of the schools can work with. So we definitely will get you connected with some producers for this program.
Hey, Casey.
Yes.
Yeah, this is David Neville. If I put my non-farm hat on, we connect with a lot of school systems and producers and that sort of thing. And one of the big issues, of course, is processing, but also in this LFS is non-processed. The logistics piece is really difficult for some farmers to manage. But what I would suggest is if you already have folks that you're working with on the distribution side, for instance, and I'll just mention Clem's Refrigerated Foods. Clem's goes to a lot of different school systems. And so they've said that they would work with some farmers if their current capability works for everybody, win-win. So you might look out to see what other distribution companies can help you with, right? Does that make sense?
Thank you, David. And we have a few other farmers already posting in the chat. So Christine, I will be in contact and we will find you a few farmers to work with this grant. Going down the list. Carlina, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi there, I'm Carlina Lloyd, Director of School Nutrition, Oldham County Schools. We are interested in fruits, vegetables, definitely interested in meats. We have started purchasing large smokers and are going to start bringing in meats to smoke site by site because we're a larger district. So I understand that we're not going to be able to provide everything the same day for all of our schools on the menu, but we have portable smokers we are bringing in to start a program to do that, and we would love to use all the local meats we can find. So they said I'm new to this, so I'm going to need a lot of guidance and help getting through it, but we are excited about it. So anybody who has any of those products, just reach out to me and I'd be willing and open to meet with you and hopefully come up with something.
It's good for yourself.
Hi, I'm the school nutrition director in Henry County Public Schools located in Henry County. We are currently interested in purchasing, for the most part, produce, fresh fruits and vegetables. I'm really wanting to try out some unique vegetables vegetables that are unique to school nutrition, possibly maybe like, squash, zucchini, things like that. And I'm also interested in possibly purchasing fresh ground beef. We currently purchase ours right now, either through commodity or through Clem's, but I would not be opposed to purchasing from someone else that is out there. So if you have any of that you would be interested in bringing to Henry County, just get in contact with me and I would like to work with you.
Next, we have Mitzi Marshall. She is currently on another call. She is in Scott County. I'm not sure what she's interested in buying, but yes, know that she is participating. Next is Jennifer.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm Jennifer Mattingly. I'm the food service director in Rockcastle County. This is my first year, or has been my first year, and we are new to Farm to School. We have just begun our meetings with farmers and planning the produce that we're interested in buying, mainly fruits and vegetables at this point. But as we expand and get moving throughout the summer and fall, hopefully we can look into meats possibly as well. So we're just getting started.
Lisa Mitchell, have we heard from you yet? All right, we'll go on down to Andrew.
Hey, Casey, this is David again. Could I interject a question for the food service directors?
Yes, that's fine.
When we talk about meats, especially raw ground product, what are we looking for? Are you looking for patties already made, or 1 pound packages, vacuum sealed, or 5 pound chubs? What do y'all, most of you guys have in mind?
Feel free to unmute. But David, we do have one comment. It says 10-pound rolls.
In Pike County, we would buy the 10-pound rolls, or we would buy patties. So we do buy, not pre-cooked patties already from our prime vendor.
We do have one more comment, and they said 10-pound rolls. Also patties, and then a few more that said they would take either. Stacy Cole, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Stacy Cole. I'm the food service director for Maryhurst. We are in Jefferson County. We already work with 3D Valley Farm, and that's located in southern Indiana. But we get, right now we're currently getting meat from them, beef, pork, chicken, and eggs. We also get honey, and we gave them a list of things of produce that we'd like for them to start getting ready for us. So they are doing that for us, and it's been good. It's been going great. I love the program.
All right, if I have missed any producers or food service directors, just go ahead and mute yourself and go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Karen Kidd. I am the Assistant Food Service Coordinator in McCrae County. We are possibly looking at purchasing some fresh fruits and vegetables and meat if we can find, some farms that will deliver to our area.
Well, aside from introductions, do any farmers have any questions for the food service directors, or any food service directors have any kinds of questions for our farmers on here today?
I do have a quick question. This is Allie from Stepping Stone again. So I'm just last year was my first year selling to schools and actually in the fruit industry at all. So I guess last year I would send out an email to food service directors like on a Thursday. And then we would deliver the next Tuesday. Because we're in the fruit industry, I never know, what our trees are going to do or what our fruit bushes are going to do. So it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, in a month from now I'll be able to deliver this much to you. So it's really on a week to week basis, but I'm not sure if that was best for the schools. Does anybody have any suggestions for me on ways that I could make that better for you guys?
Do any food service directors want to help answer that question?
I could just say thank you for sharing that, because that is one of the things that makes it tough. Sorry, this is Lisa Rizzo from Newport, because it's just so much out of your control. So, I mean, I understand there's not, you can't do anything about that. However, I think you had mentioned you do berries. Is that right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I'm just thinking in my mind, it would be something that I would, um, I could, we could still work together because we do things like say parfait, parfait bar for breakfast. And depending on what you had available, I would just take what I could get maybe. So I just wanted to share that, especially because you already mentioned you would travel to Northern Kentucky, which is where I'm located.
Yes, thank you. And if there's ever any, and if anybody gets off here and like, oh, that's a good idea, just shoot me an email. My website's linked in the comments. I'd be happy to work with anybody that is interested that isn't too far away. Sorry for some of you guys.
Yeah. We'll talk again. Thank you.
Hey, Tina or Casey, I'm having trouble accessing chat. It won't let me put a message in. Would one of you guys mind putting in the chat Capstone Farms, of course, my name, and my telephone number for anybody that wants to reach out, which is 502-330-3027. Thanks.
Well, if there's no more questions for our food service directors or farmers, is there any other questions about LFS and the grant? So please remember, and Lindsay, if you will post that link again in the chat, make sure producers and food service directors both to fill out the form so we can get you in contact with buyers or sellers. Make sure you fill out that form before you leave today. And let me post that now. And so those are posted in there again. Make sure you fill those out. Other than that, thanks for coming on here today. I know that this is new to a lot of us, but it's very exciting. And I hope that we can even have more schools dip into the meat some more and utilize our chef, Rebecca, to come in there and kind of help train your staff. And your LFS funds are available for you now. So go ahead and start ordering those and sending your invoices to me. Like I said earlier, always reach out with any types of questions through email or call or text. Tina, did you have any ending remarks?
No, I do not. Just excited for everybody. And, you know, at the end of this grant, we hope that this helps create your foundation for farm to school and things just move seamlessly right on. So any way that we can help, please let us know. And we look forward to start getting some reimbursements out there.
That is all we have. We will keep the meeting open for a few minutes so you can access that link if you haven't filled it out yet. But other than that, you are good to go. Thank you for joining today. Lisa, did you have a question?
No, I was on the, sorry, there was somebody that just called me from downstairs. Thanks, you guys, this was great, so informative. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining in.